Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at the recent keynote that just happened about an hour ago at Computex, hosted by Nvidia CEO. So I'm going to say, if you are an Nvidia long and you have been watching this channel for a long time, the keynote was pretty much a lot of what we already know. But there were 2 to 3 things that I believe really got my attention, and 2 things in specific that got me saying, wow, this is why I'm bullish in this stock. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so this is probably the slide that got me the most excited from the presentation. There was another one that we're going to look at, and it's the roadmap. But Jensen, during this slide, mentioned, and we can see by 2026, he believes that data centers are going to be coming to scaling millions of GPUs, right? Millions of GPUs is insane. That's a lot and a lot of revenue. And we're not too far off from that, right? That's just about a year and a half from now. Right now, we're in the era where we've heard of thousands of GPUs. For example, Microsoft has their Ego supercomputer that has about, I believe, 24,000 NVIDIA GPUs. We've also heard through these earnings, and we'll see a little bit in a bit, of maybe some systems being built up that have hundreds of thousands GPUs, but we've never, ever heard of millions of GPUs. And to be honest, I didn't think it was going to come this quickly. NVIDIA's CEO Jensen mentioned that by 2026, because of their Spectrum X 1600, this is going to be a platform that allows them to scale up to millions of GPUs, and millions of GPUs are coming to the data center market. So super bullish just on that. The amount of revenue growth potential that can come from millions of GPU sales is insane. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Spectrum X for those that are not familiar, right? There's 2 types of main networking solutions right now that NVIDIA is focusing on. The first one is InfiniBand, right? And InfiniBand was their networking solution that they decided to kind of create a little bit, maybe not necessarily create, but it's the one that they decided on for AI computational needs, because they believed that Ethernet was not good enough for AI solutions. So they created InfiniBand. And most InfiniBand is where you're seeing kind of all these huge data center solutions with like 24, 32,000 GPUs. Well, NVIDIA does believe that in the short term of things, in the near future, Ethernet is going to become the networking solution again for AI, mainly with Ethernet Ultra. So NVIDIA decided to get ahead of the race and started to create their Spectrum X800, or their Spectrum X Ethernet solution, which is meant for the kind of AI GPU market. So right now they have the Spectrum X800, which allows for tens of thousands of GPUs. By 2025, they have the Spectrum X800 Ultra, and like I mentioned earlier, by 2026, they'll have the Spectrum X1600. So this is focusing on the Ethernet side, and this does open up a great opportunity for a lot more customers, because certain customers just in theory enjoy don't want to move out of the Ethernet network.
Before we go any further, we are now on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you all for the crazy support. So if you haven't and are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support the channel a little bit more, make sure to check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode.
Now, I do have some pretty cool slides that we got from their earnings call that kind of reiterate a little bit of what I just mentioned, right? During their earnings call, I did an amazing video. I call it an amazing video because I believe I provide the best information of NVIDIA out there. And in one of them, they talked about their Spectrum X. So they mentioned that, look, in the first quarter, they started shipping their Spectrum X Ethernet networking solution optimized for AI from the ground up. It includes Spectrum 4 switch and Bluefield DPU. Spectrum X is ramping in volume with multiple customers, including a massive 100,000 GPU cluster. So this is insane, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be working with that Spectrum X800 that they're already working on creating that huge GPU cluster. They mentioned Spectrum X opens a brand new market to NVIDIA networking and enables Ethernet-only data centers to accommodate large-scale AI. With Spectrum, we expect Spectrum X to jump to a multi multi-billion dollar product line within a year. So here we can see how important Spectrum X, and we already know that they are working with at least one massive 100,000 GPU cluster. Just because I might have talked about GPU clusters in the past, they did mention the CFO did mention during the earnings that they were already working on multiple AI factories ranging from hundreds to 10,000s of GPUs, with some reaching 100,000 GPUs. They mentioned some here and one here because I believe here they're only talking about Spectrum X. Here they're talking about their Spectrum X and maybe their infinite band solution as well. But overall, this is probably my favorite thing from the whole presentation, that we got to see millions of GPUs coming by 2026. So Nvidia gave us their great roadmap and kind of a great understanding of how they've gone from the Hopper, from the Blackwell, and the next platform is going to be called the Rubin platform. We've already known about this, right? We've talked about this in the past, but now we got the official naming. So here with the Hopper, you had your Hopper GPU, which used HBM3. Then you had your Hopper Plus, which was your Hopper 200, your H200, right? And your H200 had HBM3E. The H200 is what's releasing right now. With the H200, they did release the Grace CPU. The Grace CPU, you now have your Grace Hopper 200 chip, and you're also going to have your Grace Blackwell 200 chip. In NVLink, they had the NVLink 4th generation, which is used for the Hopper. Then they had their Super NIC, which was for their Bluefield 3 solution. And then they had their Infinite Band switch. Now, here in the Blackwell platform is changing so much, right? You're getting your new generation of GPU, your Blackwell GPU. This is going to be your B100. Then your Blackwell Ultra, which I believe the Blackwell Ultra is the B200. Then we have the NVLink 5, which is this amazing NVLink that allows you to have 72 GPUs connected as one with this switch in theory, right? We're able to kind of create these kinds of DGX Blackwell platforms. Then they are creating a next Super NIC, which is most likely going to be for their Bluefield 4. And here we can see the Ethernet solutions that they have created, the Spectrum X, then they have the Quantum X, and later in the upcoming quarters, they're going to release the Spectrum Ultra X800. And like I just want to slide back up, the Spectrum X800 is going to be the one that's going to come out for those 100,000s of GPUs. Now they gave us our Rubin platform. So the Rubin platform is going to start off with the Rubin GPU. Now the Rubin GPU is going to be with HBM4 memory. So that's pretty important because now we're going to have to keep an eye on memory companies that are creating memory solutions using HBM4. Usually those are the three main players, your SK Hynix, your Samsung, and your Micron Technology. They are also updating their CPU. It's no longer going to be the Grace, it's going to be the Vera CPU. So while we have the GH200, which is your Grace Hopper 200, you have your GB200, which is your Grace Blackwell 200. In the next year, we're going to have the VR 200, which is most likely going to be the Vera Rubin 200. And here they're also going to upgrade their NVLink switch. This is that switch that allows you to have multiple GPUs connected together to make it seem like one. You're going to have your Super NIC next generation, and you're also going to have your X600 Ethernet switch. And it does seem like they might have something for the infinite band network, or it seems like it's going to be together. So we can see that NVIDIA is really moving on to that Ethernet network. And just like we've heard from Jensen in the past, Ethernet is the future for AI. Just right now, they had to create something, infinite band, to be able to address this market a lot faster. But eventually, it seems like they're going to go back to Ethernet as we go to Ethernet Ultra. So we also got a little bit more coming in, the Rubin Ultra GPU, which is also going to use HBM4. I am a little bit confused, and I'm not going to lie. This is probably one of the first times I'm a little bit confused here with the roadmap. They have a 12S for the Rubin Ultra. The Rubin GPU is 8S. The Blackwell is 8S for both platforms, and the Hopper is 6X. Some people mentioned that this is a 12 system. I was under the impression that both Blackwell and Hopper were a 8 system unit, so they both should say 8S. I'm not completely sure what the Rubin Ultra GPU 12S means. So that's something that I'm gonna have to probably do a little bit more research on again. But it does seem like the Rubin Ultra is gonna be a nice improvement versus the Rubin GPU in general. So that's everything that I want to talk about from the overall solution, from the overall keynote. Like I mentioned, the keynote is about 2 hours long, and most of it was things we already knew. But those were the two major things. First is the Spectrum X and the millions of GPUs. And the second thing was that overall roadmap solution that really got me excited. And I believe we are still in the early innings of NVIDIA. At the same time, for me, in forms of NVIDIA stock price, I really am a nice believer of dollar cost averaging, especially since we're kind of entering a new territory here with the AI market. We don't know where this is going to go. The market always gives us buying opportunities. Some might say, hey, Jose, look, the market never gives us buying opportunities. But if you watch my videos on April 20th, where I talked about when Nvidia kind of fell to the mid 700s after almost reaching 1,000, see, these are the buying opportunities you get every once in a while. And you want to hear more about these buying opportunities, make sure to stay tuned to this channel, make sure to subscribe, and I hope you guys all have a good weekend. Take care.